So here's the line. It's a line between the good and the bad, and it's between us and them. For most of us, this line feels like a wall. On one side, decent people, people just like us, who pay their tax, who return the shopping cart after going to the supermarket, and maybe hold the door open for the next person. And on the other side, criminals, people who kill other human beings, do shoplifting. And I guess that belief is comforting because it means we are separated from those criminals. It means we are safe, we are immune. So today I want to introduce to you two psychological mechanisms that quietly push us, ordinary people, into the another side. So the first mechanism is called gradualism. Researcher has found that people who would never steal a $20 pen from a stranger, but they would steal a $20 pen. Why? Because they think it's just a pen. Each step is so tiny, and they're so easy to justify that your moral compass won't even register a blip. The second mechanism is called the diffusion of responsibility. And this is the classical Milgram experiment. So in the 1960s, 2/3 of the ordinary people, they delivered what they thought were lethal electric shocks because an authority figure, a man in a lab coat, said, "Just keep going, I'll take the responsibility." So when the teacher said, "This is the school rule," when the group said, "Oh, everybody is doing it, it's not only just you," when the boss says, "Okay, just follow the system, we're all doing this," your conscience hands the key to the crowd, and suddenly you're doing things that you'll never do alone. So these two mechanisms, gradualism, diffusion, they don't just turn you into a monster in one night, but they turn you into a person who just follows the order or just look another way. And let me put this into a more concrete way, not with a famous experiment, but with my own experience. So when I was in year 9, which is 4 or 5 years earlier, when I was still young, I believe most of us sitting here today have gone through some kind of group project with your peers, with your colleagues, with your friends. And I was in the same situation. It's PE class, and we're trying to do a presentation. And there's one guy in our group, I'll call him Jack for now. He did nothing, not even a single research piece, not even typing some words in the PPT, and not even just a simple click on the button, create new PPT on PowerPoint. He just did nothing. And first off, we start to communicate with him politely. We're asking, "Okay, can you do this part for us? We really need your help here." That doesn't work. So we try to persuade him firmly, asking him to do something. And guess what? That doesn't work out. He still ignores us. So the another 3 people in my group are saying, "Let's remove his name on the project. He doesn't deserve any points because he done nothing." It sounds a little bit harsh, but fair, right? People who did nothing, then you deserve nothing. Fair. But then the two mechanism kicked in. The first step is small. Remove his name. Just click the delete button on your laptop. Nothing big, right? It feels like justice. The second step is bigger. 3 of my other teammates are tend to tell a lie about his attendance to our group meetings. So the second step is lie about his attendance. But by then, I have already agreed to the first step. So the second step didn't feel like a leap. It feels like a continuation. 3 other people are pushing it. One of them said, "Don't worry, I'll text the teacher, you don't have to do anything, you're just sitting there and agree. That's what you all need to do." And the another said, "Everyone in this group agree. It's not just you." I felt my conscience get quieter because the responsibility was scattered. It wasn't my decision anymore, it's our decision. At that moment, I was standing on top of the slope, and I was ready to slide down. And something stopped me. I asked myself one question. It's not, is this legal? But I asked myself, if this story goes out, what would people call me? Not a hero, a student who lies to the teacher. They would call me those because it was easier to have a hard conversation. But after I asked myself this question, I stopped. And I said to my 3 teammates, I said, "No, let's talk to him first." So before the deadline, we text him again saying, "You really have to do something, otherwise there will be a consequence." And we gave him the last chance. It was awkward and slow, but he did show up with his part before the deadline. It's not a 10 out of 10 perfect work. We got a B+, but at least he did something, and the conversation worked out. So it makes me think of, what should we do before we start sliding from the slope? For every small step towards the wrongdoing, force yourself to take a small step back. Tempt to tell someone a lie, then tell the truth instead. Tempt to ignore a broken truth, then politely point it out. A small act of integrity is strengthening your resistance to a big temptation. Because you don't practice marathon by running down hills, you practice running up hills. The diffusion of the responsibility loves the vagueness. Like, the school says so, everybody is doing it, the teacher won't mind. You have to stop and ask, who exactly is taking the responsibility for this? If the answer you get is, I don't know, no one in particular, I'm not sure, you can say, unless somebody in charge gives me direct instruction, I'm not doing this. So here's the line. It's not between us and them. It runs through every single one of us. The people we call criminals, they're not another species. They're also human. But they're at the end point of a journey that just start with a tiny little step. A vagueness of responsibility, and a moment of silence from our own conscience. But the good news is, the slope works in both ways. You can slide down, and you can climb it up. So every small act of integrity, every time you ask who is really responsible, and every headline you refuse to become, those are your reminders. So here's my challenge. Next time, when you're asked to do something that you feel slightly wrong, stop and look down at your feet. Ask yourself, which side of the line I'm standing right now? Because the answer isn't who you are, but who are you becoming? Thank you.